Here we go again. Another AAA executive opens their mouth and manages to completely sabotage their own game. This time it's Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, who's managed to dump a bucket of cold water on whatever tiny spark of hype that Borderlands 4 had left. The man basically told us, if you're not ready to drop $80 on Borderlands 4, then you're not a real fan. Yikes. And if you're broke, well, it sucks to be you. It's genuinely mind-blowing how these industry veterans say stuff like this with a straight face. It's the kind of arrogance that makes you question how these people got into leadership roles in the first place. So here's how it went down. There was this tweet just a couple days ago that has gained traction, and I saw it all over my feed today. On May 13th, Randy posted this tweet about how pumped he is to bring Borderlands 4 to the Switch 2. First of all, let's talk about that. We're already skeptical of the Switch 2 price rumors, and now we're coupling it with a $80 game that is going to launch with it, Borderlands 4. Great combo, right? And we already have the Mario Kart stuff and everything like that. Naturally, somebody in the replies said, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO and you have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. Pretty reasonable response, pretty reasonable comment from a consumer, right? Well, basically, Randy hit back with an absolute gem that I think is going to bite him in the butt, and it's going to forever haunt him. So he put this banger right here. A, not my call. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school, working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. Jesus Christ. So excuse me, we're now measuring fandom by how much cash someone's willing to throw at your game? That's textbook corporate gaslighting. It's the same nonsense that we get from Disney with Star Wars. Oh, if you're a real fan, you'd love the sequels. No, that's not how any of it works, okay? A consumer has the right to vote or boycott with their wallet. Telling them they're not a real fan because they're not willing to spend $80 on your game is probably one of the most atrocious things I've ever heard, next to Ubisoft saying that we need to feel comfortable not owning our games. Can we please stop having executives talk and do interviews without some kind of PR company backing them up and scripting what they say? Because this is why studios are shutting down. It's also hilarious and insulting. Imagine telling somebody struggling to pay their rent, hey, if you really liked Borderlands, you'd figure out how to come up with $80. That's not fandom, okay? That's financial guilt tripping. And I already know there's going to be a couple people in the comments, oh, well, then if you can't afford games, maybe you shouldn't have a console. I can already see people saying that. Well, that's not right. You're able to spend your money or choose not to spend your money. Even if you can afford it, if you don't want to spend $80 on a game, it's your right. So his justification, again, like I said, was that, oh, back in the 90s, I spent $80 on a game too. Sure, Andy, and adjusted for whatever inflation is, that probably would have been like upwards of 180-ish, maybe even 190. You worked hard for a game once, and now you think everyone should just accept price hikes? Like no questions asked at all? That's not inspirational. That's pure delusion at this point. And let's talk facts. Gamers aren't even shelling out $70 for current gen titles anymore. Doom the Dark Ages is a perfect example of this. Like, if you had a case study, you would see the best example. So it dropped on Steam with a full $70 price tag, and it's struggling to hit like 30,000 players or 31,000 players on there. For comparison, Doom Eternal cracked 100,000 players. Why? Because people are looking at these price tags and asking, is it really worth it to get that game? And most of the time, the answer is no. On top of that, Doom the Dark Ages came out on Game Pass, which is much more cheaper than spending $70 plus on a video game. It's almost like these executives are cannibalizing themselves, and then when a game doesn't sell enough or when a game fails, they try to blame it on the consumer. Like, oh, it's their fault. It's their fault. No, buddy. And you know, let's be honest here. As far as Borderlands go, it's not even riding exactly on a wave of goodwill these days. The last few game titles didn't land too well, and don't even get me started on the disaster of a Borderlands movie that we had. If anything, the franchise is in a rebuild mode, and this is the worst time to alienate fans over this. Overpricing for a video game. To say something so asinine, some so ridiculous, but it does get worse, okay? This is not just a random dev mouthing off on Twitter. This is the freaking CEO of the entire company. The same guy whose name is tied to all kinds of controversy, from shady USB drive scandals to allegedly misappropriating funds meant for development, and now he's out here trash talking potential customers. This is not a good look. This is not a good look for a CEO of a company. And this is similar to what happened with Obsidian's Avowed. If you remember all the hype that was decent before the game's release, the game actually had a good amount of hype until somebody in the company opened their mouth about putting pronouns in the game to own the chuds, and then somebody else was exposed for wanting to make sure that most of the crusty white guys in the business are kicked out, right? And instantly nuked the entire Discord around that game. And now we're seeing it again with Borderlands 4. It's the same exact story, but with the stakes even higher, right? Because this time it's not just some art director, it's the head of the whole operation, the CEO. CEO, like AEW does with that cringe Mercedes Moné. So here's the thing, man. When the face of your studio starts calling broke fans not real fans, you've already lost the war. You can't expect players to stay loyal while you mock them for not being able to afford your overpriced product. You lost them, guys. This game is going to be dead on arrival. Sure, it might sell some copies and be a success, but it's going to be getting flamed going on out. The CEO is not going to escape this situation. So here's my question. After all this nonsense, after seeing the CEO basically say that if you don't want to pay $80 for a game, you're not a real fan, are you still planning on buying Borderlands 4? Personally, I wasn't sold before, and now I'm hesitant on touching it. If it comes to PlayStation Plus or Game Pass, sure, I'll check it out then. But not until they start respecting their audience would I consider even buying something for Gearbox in general. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Should Gearbox, should they even just cancel Borderlands 4 at this point? Is a game already dead on arrival? I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe. Don't let CEOs guilt trip you into emptying your wallet. And subscribe if you haven't. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. I'd love for you guys to join. Peace out.